Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about diapers. I made a previous video before about this topic. But today I'm going to get into something that most people don't seem to know or understand, and they make a lot of assumptions about. And it's about these Depend brand and other big brand adult underwear, adult pull-ups, overnight, heavy duty, whatever. These adult Pampers, for lack of a better word, other than diaper, they are really there for, or designed for urinary liquids, and not for bowel incontinence, meaning wet fecal matter or diarrhea. Diarrhea has a different consistency and volume to it. And so a lot of times when your loved one or the person you're having to put the diaper on or take it off, you find leakage coming out around the legs, especially older people with saggy skin. It can't really be tight. And they shift around a little bit. But you notice something with diarrhea, any amount of diarrhea, wet fecal matter, it doesn't really, these adult diapers do not really absorb anything from that. It just moves them around or tries to hold it in place. It's making the assumption that it's a solid. And so what you need to do if you have somebody with diarrhea or constant diarrhea, or they get on antibiotics, look, when you have it, or they're on antibiotics, they immediately have really foul, big diarrhea that comes out, and it just floods the entire diaper. And if they're laying on their back, for example, if this comes out and it goes up and it flows up onto their genitals, male or female, up into the front on their thighs. It just, from the back, it comes right up between the legs and right over. It doesn't flow back. And if they're on their side, it flows down the side and around their hip and comes out different places. So you have that problem. Now, they do make underwear that's designed for the diarrheal incontinence, and that's very different from a Depends overnight, Depends heavy duty, whatever. And so you need to look into those other brands. For example, there's Tena and there's Abena, and there's one called Abena Sand Special, and that will help you when the person has diarrhea. They can be a bit expensive, so a lot of people don't buy many of them, but you might keep a supply in for when they're having diarrhea. Now, let's say you give your loved one a suppository because they're constipated, or an enema if they're constipated, and they go to the toilet and they get some of it out. Later they go to bed or sit in a chair and more comes out and floods everywhere. More than you thought, because it's not absorbing any of it. Hold on. I'm back. So people make the assumption that all of these Depend brands and other name brand adult diapers are really there for the front and back, for both kinds of, and it will hold a bunch of poo, but that's true if it's solid. If it's liquid, it doesn't absorb it. It just does not. And I mean, it gets some messy back there, but when you're talking about diarrhea or very wet stool, it flows up and around and to the sides, and they're always finding it leaking into their clothes and other things. So you need to understand that just because it's a diaper, it's not going to hold everything in, because it was not designed for diarrhea. It was designed for urine. And I think we need to be aware of that. And I have a lot of people have mentioned this to me, that in passing, because they really just assumed that the adult pull-up was managing both. And they say every once in a while, my loved one, LO, has diarrhea, and it's everywhere. And sometimes it won't hold anything, and it keeps leaking out, and it's all over the place. How do we get around that? And that's when I tell them, and I found out through trial and error and a lot of laundry and dirty sheets from my elderly father, that yes, these things don't hold diarrhea well at all. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. It's not a pleasant subject, but it's best to be informed and understand that adult pull-ups, not baby, but adult pull-ups, because of the volume we're talking about and the liquid matter and the solids, wet solids, it's not the same thing as a baby diaper. It's an adult pull-up, adult underpants, adult diaper. And we need to start saying that again. It's a diaper. That's what it's for. It's going to leak out if it's got diarrhea. If it's got a little bit of diarrhea, it might be able to get through the night without a leak. But if it's a significant amount, or even a moderate, small amount, a little bit of a small amount, rather than just some leakage, it's going to flow out and around and up and all over their place. And when you take that diaper off, they're completely messy, front, back, up, all the way to their waist in the front. And so when they have diarrhea, or you expect they're going to have a diarrhea right after you've given them a suppository or an enema or an antibiotic, the first days, about 4 days into the antibiotic procedure, you want to probably use those adult underwear that's specific for diarrhea. Anyway, I hope this helps some of you understand that a little bit better, and I will see you again at another time.